Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer, food maker, or artisan selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast.
I'm Kat Fields-White.
And I'm Bridget Myers. We're longtime farmers market managers, educators, and consultants. Get ready to catch up on all things farmers market pros with us. During this month of Recruit and Retain episodes, today we're talking with Corinna Smith of the Columbia Farmers Market in Missouri about how to find more farmers for your market and keep them for the long term.
Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by American Farmland Trust, protecting farm and ranch land to help foster a new generation of farmers. Your membership helps promote healthy food and a better climate for all of us. For more information about all of their programs to keep farmers farming, click the American Farmland Trust logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com. Remember, no farms, no food.
All right, well, welcome back to Tent Talk.
I like these series.
Me too. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Keep us kind of focused and dive a little deeper into these subjects that we've kind of talked about before, but in a different way, and helping me kind of learn more about our process and the process that we've learned from other market managers. We've gotten lots of great tips. The series is a nice idea.
It's good. I think it'll make it easy for people to find and refer back to, too.
For sure. Yeah, use it as a learning tool.
Yep. And have we all learned that Intense starts 4 weeks from today?
4 weeks away.
4 weeks from today.
4 weeks from today.
Eek.
We are very excited.
We are very excited.
Yes.
Registration's still open.
Yep. Still time for you to get those tickets and join us.
Still time to make travel plans.
That's right.
Right? You can still get a deal, probably, if you register today. Hurry.
You're not the only one making last minute travel plans. There's tickets for you. Don't worry.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you just can't make the trip, Listen and Learn is a good option, too. You get full access to the live stream as it's happening.
Yep.
And then you get recordings of most of the sessions after the conference. So we've got some fun things for our Listen and Learn attendees this year. We're going to have some little breakout rooms and things while we're doing workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited.
We're so excited. And we love seeing folks in person, of course.
That is our very favorite.
Give everyone a hug or a knuckles and kind of doing all the extra things that we get to do when we hang out. But then our community that gets to join us for the conference online is also so wonderful. And we all get to have those kind of shared memories of being in those, listening to everybody, all of our amazing speakers come and talk and learn from the same folks. So
yeah. And I've seen people that have attended the Listen and Learn, the online conference. I've seen them develop relationships too and kind of keep in touch over the years. We've got a lot of folks that come back year after year to do that. What I really love, though, is the folks that do Listen and Learn. They do the virtual conference for 2 or 3 years, and then it's their first time to see everybody in real life. But they've already sort of developed a little bit of a relationship from listening to the conference and to talking to other people that attended online. And they're so excited that first time that they get to switch into be there on site mode.
3D.
Yeah, that's fun.
We're all live and in person. Yep. It's so nice. I know this is our 4th year having an online option.
Yeah.
So, but we're just excited. Any way you can come and join us and be a part of the conference, we're really excited to have you there.
Yeah.
Well, today on Tent Talk, we're talking about recruiting and retaining farmers. Our guest today is Corinna Smith of the Columbia Farmers Market. She has a wealth of farmers at her award-winning market and continues to innovate ways to attract more and keep them coming to the market. Welcome back to Corinna. We've had you on before, at least once.
Yes,
before.
at least
yes.
once. Yep.
So we're really excited to talk to you about this. I think this is a really important thing that, at least internally with my team, I'm always talking about. So I'm excited to talk to you about your strategies. But just for our listeners that don't know you and haven't heard you on Tent Talk before, you just want to give a little background and what brought you to farmers markets, and particularly the Columbia Farmers Market, and how long you've been there.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me again. 2-3 times, not sure now. But yeah, so I've been managing the Columbia Farmers Market since 2013. For those that aren't familiar with where Columbia is, we are smack dab, not only in the middle of Missouri, but just about the entire country. We're about halfway between St. Louis and Kansas City here in Missouri. And we have, for our population, a very large farmers market. Our market has been open since 1980, and we're a producer-only market with a 50-mile radius, and last year we had 99 vendors between 2 different markets. So the fact that we're getting that many vendors within 50 miles is just kind of speaks to how lucky we are with the landscape and the soil we have here in central Missouri.
Yeah, sounds like a great place to grow farmers. So are your farmers required to be within 50 miles of the market?
Yeah. Yeah.
There must be a lot of farms out there. That's awesome. So what's your background? How did you get to, find your way to the Columbia Farmers Market?
My background has nothing to do with farmers markets, as probably most market managers. I was in the restaurant industry for most of my earlier adult years. I did run an artisans market in New Orleans for a while, and that kind of combined with restaurant management was a kind of a perfect mix. And luckily, my board thought the same thing when they hired me. And what is this? 12 years later, I'm still here, and I love this job, and really lucky to have found this and this great market that I run. So.
Yeah.
I would say restaurant experience and event management experience together are just about the perfect resume for running a farmer's market.
Yes.
It's a great foot to jump off of. I think we had someone on a few weeks ago, and she had been a zookeeper. Also thought that was very relevant experience to have.
Yeah, actually.
Somehow. So the Columbia Farmers Market's been around for a long time. What days of the week is the market on?
So we're Saturdays year round, and then during kind of peak growing season, so about Memorial Day to Labor Day, we have a Wednesday evening market. And that's 4 to 7. And that one's kind of new. And kind of what we're going to be talking about here really relates to that Wednesday market.
Yes, just like recruiting for new markets too.
Mm-hmm.
And you recently had your big pavilion project. Maybe you can do a little bragging about America's best farmers market celeb win.
Yeah, we have this beautiful 35,000 square foot pavilion that our market operates in. It was constructed in phases. The first phase was completed in 2019. It was about a third of the roof, and in the fall of 2023, getting my years correct here, 2023, the entire pavilion was finished, and so all 98 stalls were under one roof. And so last year was our first full year where everybody was undercover. It was also the first year since 2017 where we weren't adapting. The moving for construction, then the pandemic, and then the next phase of construction. So it was like, okay, let's just kind of get settled and see how this space operates. So it was a really fantastic year, best year we've had yet. And then in 2021, we were recognized with American Farmlands Trust as the favorite farmers market in the nation. And then we were second place the following year. But that recognition really helped put us kind of on the map. And it's been great how many farmers markets have reached out to me wanting to know, how did you build this pavilion and how did you create this space? And so that's been really great to be able to share that information with people. And we have one more phase of construction that hopefully the project will add to bid any day now. And we're constructing a community welcome center on site where we'll have a commercial kitchen, an event space, and offices for us and our partners, Columbia Center for Urban Ag, who also help run the park. So hopefully within the next year and a half, I will get out of this my home office where I'm talking to you right now and have coworkers around me.
Oh, nice. You did a big lift on fundraising for that pavilion, right?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. The whole park, I think we're probably close to like 11 million now that's been raised. And it wasn't, there are so many partners that are involved that have made that happen and our community too. We did just get a couple really large grants last year, but up until that, it was I want to say between 60 to 70% was private donations. So
Wow.
that's from like individuals and local businesses that have supported that project.
I mean, you were really ahead of the game too, because I think a lot of us now are looking at how are we going to deal with these extreme climate change incidents. And so, I mean, being undercover is a dream that I think all of us have. Good for you for being a little bit ahead of it, as opposed to now many of us are having to just sort of react to what's becoming a more and more challenging thing in terms of high winds and excessive heat and excessive snow.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I was under pop-up tents for the majority of my time being employed here by the organization. And um, it, we have fans, we have heaters, we have we have flushing toilets.
What a dream.
Like
I'm moving to
there,
Missouri, everybody.
it's pretty magical.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How many markets are in your area, Corinna? So when you're talking about recruiting farmers, how many other markets are you competing with?
There are two other small farmers markets here in Columbia. One runs the same time we do, and another one is on Sundays. Um, I don't particularly see those two markets as competition. I see them as kind of starting blocks, like a starting market, beginner's market for people that eventually get large enough and successful enough and grow enough to be able to start selling at the Columbia Farmers Market.
Yeah, and actually, I think I should rephrase that. It's not really competition. I think the more markets there are, the more farmers become aware of how much it's an advantage to them to sell direct to the consumer. I think rather than competing with other markets, what we're really competing with is kind of the lack of knowledge, even in the farm community, about what a difference it can make to keep your whole retail price, develop those relationships with consumers. I don't know how it is in Missouri. I know that our Farm Bureau even is not particularly encouraging when they talk to farmers about going to farmers markets. They're usually pushing them towards packing houses or wholesaling, or there's been a big push to institutional sales. But of course, that doesn't benefit the farmers financially exactly the way that going to farmers markets does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so helpful to have those other markets around too, just so kind of build awareness and build practice and give people a place to
Yeah.
go and sell.
And I mean,
Yeah.
within like the rural communities within that kind of 50-mile radius, there are plenty of small farmers markets in those towns too. But those towns are 5 to 10,000 people if you're lucky. So it's kind of similar to those smaller markets that are here in Columbia. They're just a beginning place, and I have a number of vendors, that have worked their way up to the market, to our market, and I know for them it's kind of night and day in the revenue that they're bringing in compared to before.
What's a percentage of farmers at the Columbia Farmers Market versus, granola makers or?
We cap the number of non-farmers that can sell at our market to 20% of our membership. That's it, a little bit higher because we do have a few like daily non-farmers, but as far as our membership itself, it's 80% are farmers, or what we consider a farmer processor. So that's a farmer that's making a value-added product out of something that they grew.
So jam or pies or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, jam, or we've got like an elderberry vendor. He has an elderberry farm that comes and sells the syrups at the market, stuff like that.
Got it.
How long do the farmers typically stay at the market? Have you seen like changes? I know we're talking about recruiting farmers. So are you constantly like trying to recruit new farmers, or do you have a lot of farmers that have been with you for a long time and they've stayed?
A lot of our farmers have stayed. We we're we're starting to see kind of a shift in our organization because we've been around so long. We have this core group of farmers, this longevity of like our longest senior vendor that's been selling at our market has been selling there since 1989.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It's like 35 years.
Yeah.
Whoa.
but we are starting to see this shift where some of them are starting to age out and retire. And 2 years ago, I was really nervous. I thought we were going to see a huge drop and not see the equal equivalent of farmers coming in, and it hasn't been that case. We have kind of historically have about the same amount that drop off and the same amount that come in, and um, and it's been really exciting the last couple of years because so many of them are young beginning farmers that are coming to our market. But I would say about 50% of our membership now have joined since I've been with the organization. So in the last 10 years, we've lost about half of our vendors, but still have this great core group that's this new core group that's been here for 5 to 10 years, which has been really great to see. What we're really looking for are new farmers to come and sell at our Wednesday market. Our Saturday market, because we just don't see a huge turnover. And when I say we like have some leave for the Saturdays and have the equivalent come in, I'm talking 5 to 10 vendors a year. It's not a huge quantity, and we're maxed out on space on Saturday. And because so many of our vendors are these kind of like 5 to 10 year vendors that we don't anticipate leaving anytime soon, we're really having to push people that want to sell our farmers market to our Wednesday market. And so we're really trying to start grow that and make it become this new beginners market to make sure that we're both a good fit for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a similar situation.
Yes, very exact situation. Yeah, there's no room at my Saturday market and still grow. I mean, I reached capacity at Wednesday last summer, but had a little bit of shift in vendors, so I have some spaces to fill. But yeah, just really pushing folks to join us on Wednesday and get their, like feel them out there, and they can get their foot in the door there until there is space on Saturday. But it's hard to predict. And
you have a little bit of room to grow on Wednesday, which is nice for you. You could, I mean, you're at what, like half of the size of the Saturday market now, but you have room to, take it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Corinna, do you think if you attract enough farmers to the Wednesday market that you would extend that season on Wednesdays?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a week, we have tried every single weekday since I've been here. When I started, we had a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But we just didn't have a market on Tuesdays or Sundays.
Oh.
But those were like 3 to 5 vendors would be at those. And so we scrapped a few of them. For a while, we were doing 2 weekday markets. Since we've been in the pavilion, this is our third day and time slot that we have tried. But we've done the Wednesday market for 2 years with this kind of later afternoon time slot. And we had a number of probably 10, 15 new vendors come in last year. And we really hope to be able to just keep growing that into this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you're at the same location doing multiple days. I think if you do too many days, you sort of take away that urgency that makes people come to the market, that, I have to get it on Saturday because that's my only chance this week. Where if you're open 4 or 5 days a week, they may just keep thinking, I didn't go today, but I can go tomorrow. And then they get busy tomorrow. And then they say, I'll go on the weekend. And then something comes up on the weekend. So I think it doesn't seem obvious, but I feel like limiting the number of days actually increases the attendance sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So you're doing something really interesting to recruit farmers and members for your Wednesday market. And I know you haven't done it before, so I guess we're all just thinking about how you've arrived at this idea, and we'll be watching to see how it goes. But talk a little bit about your vendor resource fair that you're having coming up. What inspired that? Well, actually, tell us first a little bit about how it's structured, because people who have not seen the Instagram post and read the description will not know what I'm talking about. But,
what is this
think job fair, but for vendors, sort of. But it looks a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah. A lot like a job fair, but it is going to be open to the public. I get so many phone calls and emails. How do I sell at the market? What do I need? What type of licenses, permits? And I wanted to create this event to where people can come and ask all those questions and have all those resources available. So, the market itself will have packets of information about the application process and kind of our rules and regulations. We'll have a short little presentation that will talk about that process and what we're looking for vendors. But then we're also going to have like a lot of different agencies and organizations that are like local or even at the state level. So like our local health department, Department of Agriculture, like weights and measures. There's a community kitchen here that people can rent space from. So having them here, we'll have some vendors there with sample like displays to give people ideas on how to set up a booth. Um, Probably like the business license and local agricultural organizations. So like the Missouri Organic Association. So really just providing this space for people to come and ask questions and get an idea of what it really takes to start a business, whether it's a farm or food production here in Boone County.
And that, I mean, what inspired that? Just a need to kind of bump up the attendance at the Wednesday market, or trying to limit the amount of time you spend answering questions one by one?
I So this was written in as a deliverable for a USDA FMPP grant. And I think that I dreamt this up 2 or 3 years ago, and I couldn't honestly tell you what were those little triggers on how that came to be. But I imagine it was, every time I try and create just a draft response about how to sell at the market, and then I have to customize that because every question is just so uniquely different. I just felt this would be a really good opportunity for the community or for potential farmers and vendors to come and ask those questions.
Yeah, I think it's so smart. I mean, that's how Vendor 101 was born. We were just tired of answering questions and emails one by one. And you've got some incentives for people to attend, right? I noticed on your posting for it that if they attend this fair and they get this information, you have no application fee for them later if they decide to move ahead and apply. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to have little punch cards, and they have to talk to X number of booths and then turn that in, and we'll waive their application fee if they talk to people and attend.
Oh, brilliant. I didn't get that there was like a passport element where they'd have to talk to a certain number of people. That makes so much sense.
That's so smart, because I think, like, for me, an application fee is because it's taking me a lot of time to like go back and ask questions, or they don't quite get like what they're filling out and the permits and all that kind of stuff. So that's what they're kind of paying for with an application fee for that labor. Mm-hmm. But if they're coming to something like a vendor fair, then they're getting all of that information. So the application process is probably a lot quicker on your end because they come in with so much knowledge.
Yeah.
What do you usually charge for an application fee?
It's $30.
Okay, so that's a significant enough savings, plus the fact that they're going to be, they'll have the knowledge to be likely to be more successful as well.
Yeah.
I
love this
idea. And I mean, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
too, if they come and for us to be able to meet them in person, in advance and to kind of really gauge how serious they are and they're asking the right questions and showing the interest, that gives them a leg up in the application process too. At least whenever we're reviewing it and like, oh, this person really is serious.
Yeah, or if they're not serious, you've now saved them a bunch of time. That's how we always introduce Vendor 101, is that this will either help you move forward, launch your business and succeed, or it will save you a lot of hours of frustration trying to figure out what you need to know, or trying to figure out if this is the life for you. I mean, when you hear more about, it's not camping, it's not just popping a tent or showing up at a table, it's a real business. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, that's harder than I thought it was going to be. I think I'll stick with my day job. So save them the aggravation and investment in time, save you the aggravation of onboarding a vendor and getting them going and having it not work for them. Are people RSVPing, Corinna, or are they just popping in?
So, we created a Facebook event. So, that's going to be the extent of RSVPing. We're not requiring it. We just started promoting this, I think, on like Thursday or Friday. So you all were like on it.
We're on it.
We've got eyes on everybody's market.
That's right.
Okay?
The antennas are up at all times. So what's your overall goal from this? Do you have like a number of vendors that you think it might generate that will make you feel like you hit your goals and it was worth the time and investment of promoting it and putting it together?
I mean, I would love to see, 30 plus potential vendors show up there. How many that actually translates into actual vendors applying? I Who knows? But I would love to get our Wednesday market up to 50 vendors. Last year we had 20, and about half of those were Wednesday only vendors. I think the one thing that might be kind of, I don't know, frustrating for people is that they're going to come to this and want to talk about Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of space on Saturdays. I guess we'll maybe have 5 spots total for that Saturday market. And there's people that sold at the Wednesday market that are kind of in line to work their way up to that Saturday market this year. But it's a good problem to have, right? Like the fact that we have so many people that want to sell at our market is unfortunate for the people that want to sell to market, but it's a good problem for us.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always that balance, like, oh, okay, like the market's doing so well and it's all of these vendors are succeeding. I always think of it like I don't have room in the market because no one's leaving. Well, that's because they are like supporting their family, they're supporting their farms by being at this market. I've helped sustain this great avenue for them to sell and be able to, sustain themselves. But then again, it's like all these other great businesses are looking to get started at the market, and I have to say no to so many people, and it's so sad. But
the second day of the week, though, is nice because actually I think when our Wednesday market started, it really was, the vendors really looked at it as like, oh, I can go build a relationship with them on Wednesday, and then that's how I can work my way to Saturday. But like any market, the Wednesday market has grown over time to be a terrific source of sales on its own. It doesn't have to be just a run up to Saturday. It's a legit place to make a living for a long period of time. For, years you can stay because it keeps growing.
Yeah, I think last year we kind of turned a corner with it where 2 things happened. We have a fair amount of vendors that are only doing Wednesday. They don't even ask about doing Saturday. They do another market on Saturday, or they like to keep their weekends free. So they just want to do the weekday market. So they're just with us on Wednesday. And what happened last summer is that a fair amount of vendors from the Saturday market that have been with us for a long time asked if they could join the Wednesday market. So they were already in Saturday. They already had a weekly spot there, but they were like, oh, I heard this market is going really well, and I just want to add another market to my week. And so they actually also started vending on Wednesday and have stayed there too. So that's when I kind of knew like, okay, this market's like standing on its own 2 legs, but we had to build it up to get to that point. So, but it's good to just always be doing that recruiting so you can, because just the more you fill it up, the more people want to come, and it's chicken and egg.
Like growing any market.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So once you get these farmers in here, and yes, I want to follow up about how this vendor fair goes because this is so interesting. And I feel like it's a great idea for a lot of markets to do if you have any kind of space in your market to get everybody together. Also for farmers, bringing them to the space where the market's going to be and kind of showing them like, this is where the market takes place. It's full of people. We have tables. Like, this is because farmers are on their farms so much, not like they never get out, but it's good to just show them like, this is what the market atmosphere feels like. I think that'd be really helpful to help them decide if they want to do that or not. So I think that's going to be great. What are some, just in general, some key things that you do to retain farmers at your markets? Are there farmers that kind of maybe are ebbing and flowing and you have some tips for helping them out so they can stay or retaining them to stay at the market?
Getting customers in. I mean, that's, if our vendors are making money and there's not something in their life that's changing, they typically don't leave. It's usually personal reasons why people leave. I'm very fortunate to have to come into this successful market, and it's completely different from when I started. It's even substantially more successful. So we're like, Tony, we've got vendors selling since 1989. I didn't have to do anything to keep them. They were they're staying until they're no longer farming. But there's things that we do. Like, I always try and come up with tools to help them better their business. So taking it beyond just providing that space. A few years ago, we had another FMPP grant where we were building websites and branding materials for our vendors. And so it's by becoming a member of our organization, there are perks that come along with it whenever we can find funding. And people are really proud to sell at our market. They're proud of the space that we have cultivated there. They're proud of our food incentive programs that we have, making this space accessible to everybody in our community. And so it's just kind of like creating this community, this culture that the market has that people are proud of, and making sure that there's customers there to come and buy their product so they can help support their families.
Yeah, I think that's such a basic thing that sometimes people forget. I'll hear people say, well, we're going to discount the farmer's fees, and then they'll come. And it's like, well, the fee really is not the big cost for the farmer. The cost for the farmer is produce that they don't sell, or the time that they spend at the market. So rather than thinking about lowering your fee from $25 to $15, or somebody said that we're going to do it for free. I said, how are you going to have any marketing budget if you're doing it for free? I mean, the goal is to spend that effort and that money to get more customers there. And I love what you said about food incentives. I think that's another great way to grow the market sales and retain farmers. We've often told people, even if you don't want to do this because you're a good human and you want people that are on limited budgets to be able to eat fresh food, do it because it's a good business move. It brings more money into the market. It brings more money to your farmers, and that will keep them there. And then you're able to offer more incentives to people that are hungry. So it really, there's nutrition incentives are such a win-win. I'm always just shocked when somebody declines to offer that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We dispensed last year, I think it was over $250,000
in nutrition incentives.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a couple SNAP matching programs and SNAP and a produce prescription program. That's huge for the size of our community. And yeah, folks are proud of it. And talking about fees, our vendors, a lot of them tell us we should increase our fees. That we're not charging enough because of the success that they're seeing. So I think that kind of goes to speak, like, again, kind of being proud of the organization and wanting to make sure that the farmers market continues to be successful, so that they're successful.
I love it when they recognize that. That's a good feeling.
I have vendors say that to me at both markets, actually, like, oh, these fees are like, they're like, is this the real fee? Like when new vendors come on, it's like, we just do flat fees. I'm like, yeah, I've done a budget. Like I know what, our market overhead is. And so I'm not going to overcharge you just because you're really busy at this market. Like fees go up and because costs go up and things like that. So they do grow and we have to do fee increases. But, I want you to be successful. I want you to take home as much as possible while still sustaining the market and, keeping the market management, afloat. But there's no reason that you shouldn't be taking most of this with you. So that's a great feeling, I think. And when you find that number, like the sweet spot, it's nice to know that it's working for everybody.
Anything else we should have asked you that we didn't, Corinna?
I can't think of anything.
Great. All right. And Corinna, we'll probably see you in San Diego next month, right?
Yeah, I'm coming and I'm bringing a couple team members too.
Oh, great.
So I'm excited to bring some new folks.
Love it. I think you'll love the new venue. Bring your flip-flops. You'll want to get your feet in the sand.
I feel like Corinna always makes the most of the San Diego trip when she comes, so it's nice.
Yeah. We're staying like a few extra days. Finally get to see the area.
Nice.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people doing that. I go to conferences sometimes that are in interesting cities, and same thing, I'll try to tag on a few days. And I think the Catamaran is a great venue for that. It's definitely beachside. So we will see you in a few weeks, and thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening today, and big thanks to American Farmland Trust for supporting small farmers and ranchers, preserving land for the next generation, fostering awareness of farmers markets nationwide, and for supporting Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, and the annual Intense Conference. For more information about their work, click the American Farmland Trust logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Please leave us a review on your podcast app or wherever you listen to Tent Talk. Let us and others know how you're enjoying the podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Tent Talk. Connect with fellow Farmers Market folks in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community, and follow us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros. Find online education and other resources at farmersmarketpros.com. Tent Talk is brought to you by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Tent Talk is hosted by Kat Fields White and Bridget Myers and produced by Leandra Hayes, with original music by David Mead. Tune in next week for another great episode.